Good morning, traders. It's Trader Rob. Today is Friday, December 26th. Hopefully everybody had a fantastic Christmas. I'm on the NQ right now. We did have a 5-minute level here at the 25,894 that I was taking a look at. I guess this would have been my best confirmation candle right here at the 25,896. But was actually getting some stuff ready on the chat and I did not see this candle close, so we'll see. Looks like it would have been a decent setup. And again, this one came from the 5-minute. So you had a 5-minute level right here, break of structure, no balancing out of volume, so really nice, decent setup here to take a scalp back up to the upside. Morning, Trader Randy. Morning, Michael. Got this like sun spot. I don't know if I can get rid of that. Yeah, hopefully we see some movement today in the market. Let me see if I can get rid of this. Give me one sec. All right, that's better. Morning, Keith. Morning, Coach Cleats. Taking a look at the ES, we do have a 5-minute level at the 69.66. We've got a 15-minute level at the 69.59 and another 5-minute level at the 69.51. Did identify a setup here on the ES for a long at the 69.33.50, targeting the 69.37 and the 69.39.50. They stop at the 69.27. Yeah, even the range this morning is still pretty damn small. So hopefully we get some volatility in here in the market. Hopefully you guys had a good Christmas. We flew out yesterday in the afternoon. We're delayed about 2 hours. But just happy to make it out. And the weather here in Florida is just fantastic. Alright, taking a look at a setup here on the NQ. Along at the 25,833.75. TP1 would be at 25,839.25. And your TP2 would be the 25. You know, let's just delete this guy. What do I want to do here? 5-minute level right here that's forming, so I probably want to target that. Let's delete that, and then let's make this a 5-minute target. 2P. Alright. So here's a setup on the NQ, 25,833.75, targeting the 25,839.25, and TP2 at the 25,848. Stop loss at the 25,827.50. This 15-minute level still is still defending at the 25,894. I made a few changes to the charts just to let's see if I can find one here. I know it's a little difficult to see. This is the weekly band here in green. I was just taking a look at the live stream from the 23rd, and I don't know, the chart just looked way too busy, and I'm pretty accustomed to just a very clean chart. This area right here does have some unbalanced volume sitting towards like the bottom part of it. I'm just taking a look at it and seeing what type of reaction we get there. Oh, man, that's great. I feel like I'm locked into one place here on my chair. If I move a little too forward, I got some blinds right in front of me, but they're not doing a great job of blocking out the sun. You know, natural target on here would be the unbalanced area right here. That would be your target. Morning, Harley. I was able to jump into this particular trade here off the 5-minute level on my 2 XFAs accounts through Top Step. I pretty much only could do resting limit orders. I can't really actively manage my my Top Step X accounts. I just find it very... all my focus is on Ninja. So it's very difficult for me to do like market orders into my Top Step. So pretty much I have those set up just for justifying signals and 5-minute levels, 15-minute levels that seem pretty convincing. See if I can pop this up here, how this will look. This is what this trade looks like. There's 3 micros, pretty much all you need. We'll see how this trade plays out. Morning, David Ray. All right, 11 minutes to the open. Morning, AP. just a quick reminder here. My dotted lines here are 5-minute levels, both on the NQ and the ES. I made them darker. I don't know, it might be a little bit difficult to see, but that's kind of the intention, is that I don't want the charts to be completely cluttered. And then my 15-minute levels are the dashed lines. So everything kind of got a little bit darker to kind of blend in with the background, just to not make it so noisy. All right, 5 minutes for market open. No headline news today. Nothing really on the calendar, I think, for the next couple days. Morning, Steve. Yes, Harley. And Michael, if you have a chance, can you open up the chat in the portal and see if you're able to see my messages? Okay. Cool, thank you. All right, 2 minutes to market open here. Ooh. That was a big swipe. So that took me out. Well, they swiped at that guy already. Let's take a look here. Correct, Mason. Yeah, not a signal. Would like to see this. Would like to see the market settle down just a little bit. When I say settle down, but I mean the actual range. These candles are pretty damn small. Thanks, Jeff. Same to you. Hopefully you had a great as far as the text in the horizontal lines, it's an indicator. If you just Google NinjaTrader labeled horizontal line, you'll find it. It's in the ecosystem. It's free to download. That reacted really nicely. anywhere where I got these little shaded boxes, guys, these are just reactionary points. I just want to see how the market's reacting to these intermediate targets of unbalanced volume. Morning, Key. Christmas is great. So we spent the 24th at my sister's house, which was a great time. A lot of my nephews came in for Christmas. I got one nephew that's in London, another one that's in Tennessee, so I hadn't seen them in a while. And then yesterday we pretty much woke up, opened up our presents, and then headed to the airport. So we're down in Florida right now. Excuse me. So again, guys, these shaded boxes that I draw out, these are just small areas of unbalanced volume. And again, I'm just looking to see, this is mainly more for myself, just to see what how the market's reacting to these smaller pockets of unbalanced volume. Kind of gauge targets for setups this way. Alright, so we got a 5-minute level on the ES that was formed at the 69.8350. Break of structure. Nice strong move. Still left a good pocket of unbalanced volume there. And now I can switch that from a 5-minute to a 15-minute level. 69.83. So this will definitely be an area that I'm going to take a look at for a setup. Let's see what the NQ is doing. Okay, nothing much there. Nothing yet on the NQ minus this setup here with a long into 25.833, targeting the 839 and the 848 with a stop loss at the 827. Thanks, Mark, for supporting the channel. Welcome to the stream, VIP. Which reminds me, I've got a schedule. Let's see what January's looking like. Looks pretty good. 18. Alright, so let's see what kind of reaction we get here at this 15-minute level at the 69.83. Let's drop down to the 1. And let's see what kind of targets we got here. Would have liked to see there pop right to my TP. Come on. Yeah, pullback is pretty it's pretty likely there. All right, so trade 1 off of the levels is done. Got a decent confirmation footprint on the way up from the 69.83 once we crossed over on the 15-minute. And it just barely balanced this. I think this was about, it was 2 ticks off from full TP. And this was left unbalanced, so I mean they could very easily come back and rebalance this out, but this was off by about 2 ticks. But it was about right. It was the right setup. All right, David, Ray, Trader Rob, did you say the masterclass is coming out after the first of the year? Yeah, it's going to be launched January 1st. I do already have a few people in there. They're kind of like my test pilots, I guess you could say. I'm currently streaming on the portal, on my new Signal service portal. I've got the videos and everything ready to send out to Discord to all my members and everybody on YouTube. There's just a few things that I'm still just want to make sure that it's perfect, but it's really damn slick. And the nice thing is that on the portal I'm able to live stream, which I'm doing right now. I've got I think 1 or 2 people in there right now that are testing it for me, and the lag is 10 times better on there, or less than on YouTube. So there will be extended trading hours of my live trading on the Signal service portal, which is great. And yes, the masterclass will be released on the 1st. I'll leave this up here and take a look at this guy now. Back test to funded. Following the journey, would love to get an update on how the 30-day challenge is going for you, and which day are we and how much did you make? So I did a 30-day challenge. I don't know, this thing was probably back in September, where I did a challenge on it was me versus the mechanical strategy. So my level-based, volume-based trading versus my mechanical strategies in oil, gold, and the NQ. So finish that challenge, but as far as performance, November was honestly one of my best months, and then it's turning out to be where December is probably going to be the second red month out of the entire year, with July. So July, I had a losing month. I think the signals are at like 52% that month. But December, I am definitely in the red. It's been a tough month. That's why you see me charting out a lot of these unbalanced zones to, I'm pretty much just trying to take an inventory on what the market is really liking and what it's not respecting at all. So like an area that it just left unbalanced was right here. So again, like if we get a retest into here, I'd love to see that react from this shaded box. Oh, 14 is get rid of. I have this old ass account that just keeps popping up here. Control center. All right, let's see what kind of reaction we get at this at that point. I would like to see it make a move straight to our entry at this point. Alright, it's going to want to retest this unbalanced volume area right here and see what kind of reaction we get here. There you go. Okay, that's what I like to see. That's what I like to see. Beautiful. All right, 25 minutes for initial bounds to be set. Well, yes, never got up to its TP here. That's a shame. Alright, let's see what else is going on here. Go to 5. So get break a structure up here. Alright, got a new 15-minute level pretty much formed at the high at the 69.92.75. So we'll keep taking a look at that one. Which is not very clean. Not very clean yet. Be right back. Back test to funded, in short for 20 points. Alright. Alright, so we got a 15-minute level on the NQ at the 25.928. And then let's take a look at this. Get rid of this guy. No, don't do that. Oh, shit. Well, they just balanced out my TP2. I am canceling the setup on the 25-833. You might be able to get in with a footprint confirmation here, but they just balanced out TP2 for me. So right now the 44s are left unbalanced right where my cursor's at. So they just balance that. I mean, they're taking out all of the intermediate targets that we have here. So this setup is very low probability at this point. We have 15 minutes for IB to be set. They left now again. So they still left the 44s again, but it's just been recycled volume, so they might want to just tag into that really quickly here. There you go. Yeah, they're just balancing everything as they come back down. Very low probability setup. Very, very low probability setup. In fact, I would probably say do not take this trade. Or that setup. Definitely not. What's your take on 813? Problem with 813 is it doesn't have much legs. I don't see a big move. Oh, so we did what was that about? 2 ticks. Yeah, that sucked. I missed that by 2 ticks. Again, just not the setup that I'm looking for. They keep going right after the same 44s, but shit. All right. close, guys. Close doesn't get paid. Let's see what else. Still pretty tight range for the day. I mean, I have to say ATR has probably got to be around like 15 on the 5-minute level. On the 5-minute, no, it's 20. So ATR is 20 on the 5-minute. I guess it's decent. It's not terrible. Just taking a look at the ES to see what I wouldn't mind this this little setup here at the 69.92. Just a little tiny sweep of the high, which might actually come with the that would be an IB trade for the ES. It looks like it's set up pretty primed. Which we got here about 11 minutes for the IB. The initial balance. So it's tapped already right into it. Tapped already. Alright, not much yet. Sit here and be patient for a little bit. Got 10 minutes for initial balance. See what we can get there. IB low is looking pretty juicy. Got an unbalanced area right here that starts at the 842s down to the 837s. Got a 5-minute level right here at the 836. and then the IB low at the 834. IB high is currently, we've still got 8 minutes left, but it's at the 935.25. Oh, nice little rejection there. Dang it. Yeah, that was a nice little rejection right there off the 15. I mean, right to the dot. Just wasn't looking at the chart. Those are nice ones to spot. And you just keep doing this over and over. That was a nice one to spot. That would have been a great confirmation candle. Short right there. Good 3 points. Five-minute level at the 69.73. Again, no level here at the 69.85s. Obviously, you can see how price action to make the move to the downside did have to tap right back into that unbalanced volume to make the move to break structure finally. So not a level that I would look at. All right, 5 minutes for IB to be set. Alright, let's start a poll here. Who's green for the month of December? Curious to see this number. So we've got about 4 more days of... I think maybe 3 more trading days in December left, but... I can't vote, but I am in the red. Alright, so far mixed bag on performance for December. Don't be shy. No one's gonna judge. Looks like today's turning into more of a range. Volume profile trading and action theory changed my life, man. Started with the 15-minute round reversal like 2 years ago. That's awesome. Yeah, volume and auction theory. The beauty of it is, you know, I hear a lot of times, you know, when majority of the people will look at YouTube for strategies, obviously, and the majority of strategy videos that I have looked at over the last 4 years might be in the area of either several hundred different types of strategies. Whenever somebody talks about a strategy and says that it's only good in the NQ market or in the ES market. Now, yes, there are some markets that have little ins and flows of price action that you kind of have to, but that's such a niche type of system that typically those traders aren't posting that on YouTube. But if your system, if it's a true system that is profitable consistently, it's got to work through all markets. And I'm talking like all markets, like stocks, indexes, crypto, commodities. It's got to work through them all. And the only thing that I have found that you can give me any chart You map up any chart right now, or you tell me any symbol of any chart, and I will find you the closest reactionary points on the bigger time frame and on the lower time frame. And my money is on the 80% rule of getting a good reaction from those areas. And you can only do that through volume for as far as a setup goes. Now your take profits, a little bit of auction theory there on unbalanced volume. What the market has an easier way to release the contracts that they've already done business with. Sounds a little bit more complicated than it is, but it's really not. It's actually pretty simple. And that's what I'm trying to teach you guys here. That's what I'm trying to teach that every day on YouTube and through the videos that I post out. Obviously, the masterclass is going to be very detailed. I think it's about 3.5 hours with about 11 or 12 different modules in there that just breaks it down to the bare bones. And like I said, you could take it and map out any area or map out any instrument. All right, so IB is officially set. Now let's see what. Not much price action to develop a decent scalp from. Definitely nothing A+ right now on the books. We're just kind of sitting in this range. See what the ES is doing. So no 5-minute level here yet, just because there's really been no break of structure to the upside yet. It would need to break pretty much the current day high for me to mark this off as a 5-minute level. Now we should see a reaction in this zone right here at the 25,916. We also got a 15-minute level sitting right above it at the 928, and then you've got IB high at the 935. So we got a lot going on here at the IB high today. Well, like normal days. I mean, for it to be an initial balance high, you're always going to be at a high, so it's always going to be an area of high liquidity with stops. And that's where volume, again, it all comes back to volume. Everybody can sugarcoat it or put their fancy terms into it, but what everything really means is you have to find areas that you know are going to be high reactionary points. I know also well about the NQ whip. All right, I'll be right back. Let's see if we can get some price action movement here. All right, we got a comment here from Key. Let's see. With your system and volume profile the way it's taught, you would be dangerous. Why? Because you are hitting very value area high, value area low, but not taking the trade to its logical point, the POC of the session. Yeah. So I mean, the issue with value area high and low with the POC, and I understand that trade very well. It's you're looking for trading the edges. So on range days, um, you can, I guess that strategy would work out pretty well. But we got to remember that very value area high and low on the NQ, getting back to the POC, could be 80 points, 90 points, 150 points, 300 points. Sometimes it could be 60 on very low volatility days. And the NQ, the ES, not so much. The ES is a little bit more directional. It's very slow on how it gets to its areas, but the NQ has a very funny way of rebalancing volume, getting back to the PLC. So I mean, what Key is referring to is the magnet force of the point of control for the session. Which again on a rangy day, it's got definitely a higher edge than on days where we're trending. Now, of course, we range probably 3 out of 5 days of the week, sometimes 2 out of the 5 days out of the week. So you do that is I can't tell you that that's not a great way to trade. It's just not my style, just because of the fact of the way that the NQ moves to get back to the POC. One, again, you have to be position sized accordingly, and looking to take some, intraday, almost like an intraday swing. Yeah, the PLC can move, but it's not going to move by 30 points. The PLC will move from high value node. So if I turn on PLC, my PLC is going to be right at the 25 880, let's say, in this region right here. That on a range day is not going to move that much. It's not going to move until it starts trending. So once you get a big push to the upside, then then you'll start to see a new area with increased volume. But and again, I'm on a bigger time frame on my volume profile. So my composite profile here is on the 45 day. You're looking at it from a daily point of control type of view. And I'm not arguing with you to saying that strategy is right or wrong. It just doesn't fit my style. All right, so it looks like the majority of you were in the green for December. That's awesome. I wish I could be a part of that yes group, but I'm not. All right, that poll has come to an end. Okay, so you answered that. So now you've got three fixed range profiles. So you're using the previous day, the overnight, so preset, pre-market, volume, and long range weekly. So based on that, if you've got three profiles, let's say it's about noon today, and you've got your POC from today, you've got your POC from yesterday or yesterday and pre-session, and then you've got your weekly, which would also mean you've got three value area highs and three value area lows. Which one do you put more weight on? The current day, the previous day, or the weekly? Or are you only looking for when all three of those are kind of lining up with each other? I mean, I love talking markets, so I could talk about this all day. Gotcha. Okay. Well, this market's not going anywhere quickly. Cami Capital. I have not watched any of his content, but I can tell you right now. So, former ICT trader, so he's obviously um, picking up on. He's obviously picking up on some of the concepts from ICT that they always are preaching about. But the fact that you said that he switched over to the volume profile 3 years ago automatically tells me that he's got an edge. Personally feel it's the only way to do it. He can trade with a line chart. So what's his entry model? If he's not using any candles for an entry or a confirmation, does he just put resting limit orders on the value area highs for the bounce? I'm sure he's got to have some kind of entry model, and I doubt the entry model is a line chart. Granted, I could trade volume with a line chart. I've actually shown that a few times on stream. That one's. But I'm sure he's got to have some kind of confirmation or some kind of entry model. Unless, I don't know, unless the system is calling for just a resting limit order at those areas. It doesn't seem likely to me, though. Yeah, my strategy revolves mainly around, or not mainly, but pretty much around areas of unbalanced volume for 15 to 20 point scalps on the NQ. That's like my bread and butter. Um, like the setup that was provided today earlier. I mean, obviously we missed entry there by 2 ticks, but you guys saw the reaction point. I mean, that was good for maybe a 30-point reaction off of that. I was a little unfortunate. They did balance out a ton of the TPs, which kind of validated it for me at that point, but that's what I'm primarily looking for. And on a typical day, you could typically find at least 2 or 3 setups. So you're not, obviously staring at charts or waiting on a chart for an area to always develop. But on days like today, this is a little tough to find some. It's actually been tougher all December. Stuff that's actually been reacting well. So again, like a good example of one right here would be, you get a break of structure, and again, you can do this on any chart. It's going to look the same. So you get a break of structure here slightly. I mean, this is not impulsive by any means, but when you come back here, you see that your level, and this is just, I use candlesticks just because it's easier for people to obviously see and represent, and most people are on some type of time interval candles. So your 5-minute level would have been smack dab right there. But as you can see, as price action came up, even though we might have a move that taps into this box or starts balancing out on the volume up here, for the market to make any move to the upside, which it really hasn't, and I understand why it hasn't, because you can see that the move was not even strong enough from the origination of this level at the 25,882. It needed to tap back into this level for it to then have any type of reaction to the top side. Now, typically these moves are not going to be your strongest moves to the upside, nor are they going to be the best reactionary point when the market comes back down to them. So this is my whole theory here on auction and volume and basic price action, is finding those areas where they've left unbalanced. Open auction, they might want to close an auction up here, and then they're going to find the next unbalanced area for them to close, and that's all that they do all day long. So, and those are going to be more your scalps, your 15, your 20 pointers. Now, if I wanted to, I mean, I could switch my trading strategy up around very easily, and when I find, I hope I didn't move anything. When you find a big pocket like this of unbalanced volume, which is pretty much sitting at the 25,695 to the 628, these are going to be your extremely strong areas of support. So when you come back down here, you're going to see a reaction here. Now, this is a much bigger range, which would require a much bigger stop, and which would require much bigger targets. And that's one style of trading. I just don't necessarily have the time to be looking at a chart waiting for price action to eventually get into these areas. But these areas are already primed. Like, these are prime areas. If we were ever to tap back into the 25,650, great reactionary point, because it's just got another area of confluence with high volume sitting right there. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to say high volume. I know I say high volume a lot. That's not what I'm referring to. It's unbalanced volume. There's difference there. And sorry, Key, if I would have read your answer, that right there would have answered my question. So I didn't read that last sentence. You said he only takes trades on the DOM, which is, obviously he's using level 2 and Bookmap. So that's, I'm assuming, I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm assuming that would be his entry model is using Bookmap or level 2, which I'm all about. I think that's fantastic. All right, so Key, let's look at this example right here. The 25, 9, 28, 50. This one right here. If we switch over to a line chart, I think you should yeah. So it's right there. You can see obviously that we had a big break of structure. Correct? That's undeniable. We had a big break of structure from this area. Now, where I actually put my line is it's just something I've developed over like 2 years, just because it works, and it's just constantly an area that has always worked out very well for me, which is where the two bodies intersect at the highest most part, looking for a short, at the lowest most part, looking for a long. So like in this instance, if I was looking for a long and price action went this way, went up, obviously it went down, but if it did go up, my level would be sitting here at the 25,917, which would be right here where the two bodies intersect. Can't go any lower because now you're intersecting through a wick. Can't go any higher because now you're just in the middle of a body. So at the bottom of these two. So that's my level that I would find on the 15-minute, which are my strongest levels. And I had on the 15 or on the 5-minute, I had no candle, as you can see, that wicked in any portion of this move right here. So this to me is an area of unbalanced volume. Now I should expect to see a reactionary point in this region right here. Now when I jump down to the 5-minute or to the 1-minute, that's where you can find, obviously, well, mainly in the 5-minute, you can find some entries, and then on the 1-minute, I find my TPs. And how I find my TPs is identically to this. It's the same. I'm looking for areas on the 1-minute that break structure, that had no wick, balancing out any volume on the way down or on the way up. And those are how I find my TPs. Now, the reason why I don't have a setup here and have my entry and my stop loss and my take profits is because, one, this to me is a very sweepy setup here. We've got a level sitting obviously at the 25,928. We've got a lot of unbalanced volume sitting below it. But then you've got the IB high, which has got natural built-in liquidity and volume that's sitting right up here. So here we get into a scenario where, yes, I could get the reaction that I'm looking for. It's primed in every which way possible for one of my classic setups, but I also have the sweeping nature of the market that it might want to tap into it. Where in that scenario, I'd rather take the IB high. I'd rather fade the IB high with a good footprint confirmation and take it to the short side. This to me would be even a higher probability setup than down here. Even though I am expecting a reaction here when the NQ gets up to this 25,916 area. Let's see what's... So I hit a pretty good milestone for my health. I officially dropped 25 pounds, which I kind of see in the it in the face. I mean, all my clothes are. It was funny because I for Christmas Eve, like I said, I went to my sister's house, and my buddy had bought me this really nice winter jacket. I think it was for my birthday, maybe about 4 years ago. And I was too embarrassed to tell him that it never fit me. So I still had the tags on them. But I was kind of embarrassed because, you know, in the wintertime we would go out to eat with the wives and stuff like that. And you never see me wearing a jacket. So I finally put on the jacket on for the 24th. And I had my wife take a picture of it, of me wearing it. And I sent it to him. And I'm like... And I explained to him the story, which he called me an idiot for not telling him. He's like, I would have just got you a bigger size. And I'm like, no, it was the motivation. It was partly the motivation I needed. It was also the doctor telling me that you got to change what you're doing, or you can be trading for much longer, or doing anything for much longer. For that case. Yes, unbalanced. I am using candles, and then I'm confirming it with my volume profile. So what I would like to see in a very A+ setup is an unbalanced area forming nicely on a. Let's say we're looking for a short. I want to take a look at an unbalanced area on the bottom edge of a high volume node. That's where I know I'm going to have all the force behind me for a quick reaction. And that's why a majority of my trades, I was looking actually, I mean, we took a, I don't know, I want to say it was a dumb trade, but on stream, what was it, the 23rd, at the end of the day, I mean, there was zero volatility, zero movement. I forgot where I was going with that answer. Oh, my time duration. So I think I was only targeting maybe 10 points. And I think we got up to like 6 points of profit. And I wanted to at least go to break even, but the chat wouldn't let me. And which is kind of stupid because I'm obviously trading with personal funds as well, but it wasn't a big trade, and I had scaled down to the micros anyways. So that trade, I think, ended up lasting about 45 minutes. And I'm like, man, that's going to really change the average of my trade duration, which on the NQ is sitting at less than a minute. So, and that made me kind of start thinking too about the the prop firms that I use, majority of them have high frequency trading. And I remember somebody on stream had made that comment, and I didn't really, I thought about it, but I didn't put that much weight on the whole scenario, on the whole situation. But my thinking behind the high frequency trading is one, I'm not an algorithm. Two, every single one of my trades are recorded. So I'm coming up with the setup, I'm coming up with the entry, the take profits, the stop losses. You know, how the NQ reacts is obviously I can't control that. And it just happens that the areas that I map out are such high reactionary points that the typical trade does end very quickly. ES I really never have an issue with. So I think in the end of the day, those two kind of balance each other out. But I probably take about 70% NQ, 30% ES if I look at it. And those fluctuate. Sometimes the ES is moving really nicely, and you can find 1 or 2 setups a day. The NQ, if I look really, really hard throughout the entire day, I mean, I could probably find three A+ setups. On a shitty day, none, obviously. But there hasn't been anything on the NQ. We do have a signal long signal on the NQ that to me looks pretty damn ripe. It's a ways away to go to get anywhere near there, but all right, we're starting to get some price action. Now we can see here. Let's see what's going on in 5. No, that's not on the 15. For my weekly bands, I'm on the 1 and 4 hour chart. Same thing you're looking for. Exactly what you're looking for on the 15 and the 5 and the 1 and the 30 second. You find them on the 1 and the 4. Now, obviously, those don't come around very often, which is why there's not a ton of those on my chart. There's usually 2 or 3 realistic ones on my NQ, but those could be 100 points apart, 150 points apart. 200 points apart sometimes. So my brother-in-law, who's a day trader for a lot longer than I've been trading, he's the one that actually got me into trading. You know, he will ask me many times for my weekly bands on like Tesla or Nvidia. And so I'll provide those to him, and those are going to be more for him. They're more on like swing basis. And then when he's scalping, he'll either text me an area that he's considering taking a long or a short for a scalp, and then he'll ask me, what do you think about this area? And then I'll either confirm it or tell him, you know what, take a look at this area. And but he's starting to see it on his own now too, which is great. Sometimes people want the secondary confirmation, they want to make sure that what their eyes are seeing is truly what's happening. David Ray, do you only take the IB trade on the NQ? So yeah, currently the most backtesting I have is on the NQ, but the scenarios plays out pretty much the same. The only thing is, and I know I've been saying it for a long time, you just kind of have to kind of track the IB on the ES to kind of, you know, you can go back, just go back probably about 120 days. It's really easy to just put a range indicator on your chart, you know, for the first hour. They'll do like opening range breakouts, all of the orb. Any of those indicators will map out that first hour and see what I would do is I would just open up a spreadsheet, which is what I did on the NQ going back almost a year. Go back on the NQ and then just as a fixed, without footprint confirmation, because that's the way I would typically, as you guys see, it's the way I enter it. Just on a fixed range limit order. And what I would do is I would see what the maximum drawdown or the average drawdown on your backtesting comes up with. And then you can start to formulate what a decent stop loss would be. Like 15 points I found on the NQ opening range on the initial balance is a pretty good stop loss just on a fixed limit, a resting limit order. Or I guess from wherever you would want to take the IB low trade, 15 points, but that's not obviously going to be the same on the ES. So there's a bit of work that would need to be done just to see the ratio. The strategy is the same. It's all still volume-based strategy based on, you know, the market's gonna naturally, people that are betting on it to go long have their stops here. You know, I mean, majority of them do. Some have different trailing stops. A pivot gets broken, a new high, a higher low gets formed. They might move their stops, but the general consensus is that your stops are going to be sitting down here, and the same thing up here where your stops are going to be sitting here. So it's a natural born area of one. It's the highest traded in volume hour in the markets, in the ES or in the NQ. First hour is always going to have the most out of any hour in the 24-hour day. So these are always going to be built-in volume areas that that you will see on your chart. And what you're looking for is just kind of finding what that nice ratio is on the ES, which I don't have. I have not done that back testing on the ES. And mainly because when the IB gets pretty low, pretty down to the NQ, or if it's going to the low or the high, I'm hyper focused on the NQ at that point. So just haven't really put the time and effort that it's required to do that. So like the NQ, this right here, we will see a reactionary point at the 25.9, I guess let's call it the 89, or no, the 25.888 to the 893s. We will see a reaction here. And you know, and if I wanted to trade a lot, I could. You know, I mean, I could set a resting limit order right here at the. Let's see what this is here. Right here. 98. I have to get a little sleepy there. 880s. 880s would be a good target. That's pretty much a good target. This would be a good stop right around here. So I mean, you could do this kind of all day long. A little later in the day, but still. It should still show itself. That's a good practice exercise to find unbalanced areas on the lower time frame. So these are, I mean, I could scalp this all day long. This would essentially be your 1 minute level. So I know I'm putting here a 5 minute level, but it's not, it's a 1 minute level. So again, I don't want to confuse anybody by putting setups, so I don't mark them off as blue and red and green, but I think we all understand the setup that, you know, would be here as if I wanted to take a scalp. And this is actually, I mean, full transparency, this is how I've been trading my XFA accounts with Top Step. Because with me, with Top Step, I know I keep saying this, but I have a very hard time managing real time on Top Step, any type of trades. So I will, 99% of my trades on Top Step have all been resting limit orders. So I'll find a setup like this, you know, that on the lower time frame, and if I hit one, it's typically about between $100 and $150 profit, and I'll just finish the day off that way. If I lose my first one, I'll usually take another one. If I get break even, then I will take another trade. If I lose 2 in a row, I'm done for the day. And that's how I've been trading the Top Step. It's slow. It's not the, you know, it's not the greatest. I'm not a big fan of the platform. Yeah. Then on the 1 minute, I could do this all day. I mean, I can have a live stream that I could take 10 trades on, and probably still have a decent winning rate, probably in the neighborhood of 65-70%. But I think at that point, you know, now we're just, it's a completely different type of stream, and it's a completely different type of environment that people are accustomed to. I bet a drop from the 888s. Yeah, could. The 888s would probably be my entry. That would be my entry. And then what hurts is that the next The next unbalanced area is sitting right above it. Again, on the lower time frame. So, since they're so close to each other, this could be a scenario where it does sweep. It could get a little sweepy here. That's what I don't like. I don't like when there's two unbalanced areas very close to each other. And again, granted, I'm on the 1 minute, so I mean, it's a completely different type of scenario where you could find these all day long. But just in looking at it, I would say this area here actually might be stronger than this one right here. It might be this pocket right here. Yeah. So I can. This is the 5 minute. So we've got a 5 minute level sitting right here, right there. So in my eyes, this unbalanced area right here, this is much stronger than this little one that I've mapped out here on the 1 minute. So we'll just see how it plays out. Which one gets respected a little bit more, and then I'll. I mean, the market's not really giving us much right now, so. See a lot of orders at 88s. So if I take a look at here, you've got your 888s here. So this has got a pocket, and then this is I just pulled up Bookmap right now. There's no setup that I was currently looking at besides the IB, but the 888s obviously are lighting up, and the 890s are lighting up. 890s, 888s. And then if we go into, the 898, let's see what that shows us now. I can't find this. That's the problem with putting Bookmap over here. The 897s are right here. So yeah, so you can just see where the volume kind of starts to stack in. But this, I'll be honest with you, I don't even need to see Bookmap for this. This I could already tell you is going to be an area. This is just confirmation of that area. I'll leave this one here. I might need to see it though, so let me just keep this down here. Oh. Key, I'm not gonna lie, I've done the same thing. I remember a long time ago, I was on, I can't remember what number payout I was on my Take Profit Pro account. And I swear, I needed $7 to get a pretty nice payout. I think it was going to be like close to a $2,000 or $3,000 payout. I needed $7, and my brain and my mind just went red. It just went blank, and I jumped into an ES trade that made no sense, no setup behind it, nothing. Just the likelihood of it going down a tick or two. It was like a tick or two that was my take profits. And that sucker reversed on me so hard. And then I'm like, oh wait, well, you know, I think I ended up putting like a 5-point stop loss to make 2 ticks. This is how bad that situation was. Well, it ended up being, I took about a 12-point loss, and I never got my 2 ticks. So, which is great. I mean, those lessons are fantastic in trading because, you know, our brain does have a great way of filing things in your brain, and hopefully you can reflect on that filing cabinet the next time that same scenario happens. And it would have been so easy because I had that day, I had an ES signal set up that hit for TP1 and TP2. So if I just would have been patient and waited the hour or two that I would have had, I could have left a resting limit order targeting 2 ticks, and I would have gotten that with no problem. Which was for me, it was a very good lesson. It was a very, very good lesson that I learned the hard way. Man, what a boring day here. Some boring price action so far. But now, so on my top steps, on my XFAs, I just target... once I get past, because I'm already past the 5 days of the 250 for a payout. I mean, I think I technically could take a payout right now, but it's just not enough. It's not enough money there to for it to be substantial. What was I saying? Oh, once I got past because I'm still on the legacy dashboard, which is you have to get 5 trading days of $200, not $250, $200. Now I think it's $150 if you buy them on their new, I don't know what you call it, the new portal that they have. So once I get past that, I mean, at this point, it's pretty much between 100 and 130 bucks a day, just a few micros. Try to build it up to 3 or 4 grand, and then just take out the same type of payout that I would on my live accounts. And there's 2 of them, so those are times 2 on the XFAs. So it's like I trade it as a live account now. I mean, the only difference is that I don't trade it since they don't have the capability of NinjaTrader anymore, which really sucks. I think if they had NinjaTrader, I think they could be the best prop firm out there, because their rules are pretty damn decent. You know, you make your 5 days of 150 bucks, which is not hard. It's not easy, but it's not hard. And then you build it up to at least past your initial drawdown, which is I think 2,000 bucks. And from there you can just start taking your paychecks bi-weekly, once a month, every 2 weeks. take a home run trade and you actually get to keep the money. I mean, there's not a lot of firms that offer that. Not that I'm advocating for home runs, but home run's always nice. It wins games. I don't even know, what do I got in the top sub account? So I got about $1,000 in both of those XFAs. So it's not enough to. It's definitely not enough to. And this has also been one of the worst months that I've had in December. If this would have been a normal month, I would have probably been up or closer to the $2,000 to $3,000 range already. But I'm currently down about $2,700 on each cash account this month, which is pretty fucking terrible. Pretty terrible. But I've done all of the, I think, responsible things. So I've scaled down. So my leader, the chart we're looking at is the NQ, but that's my leader account. And then I've got that copy traded to all of my PAs and my instant funded accounts on micros. So I've done about half the position size right now in December. Actually, not into December, from the last like maybe week and a half. I'm just looking at the data. I need to see 2 or 3 of my A+ setups, my signals, let's call them. I need to see them hit TP1, TP2. And then I know that we're back on the right track. And I see it happening. I'm seeing a lot more of my zones and my areas being respected and reacted to how I see the market. So those are all positive signs. But I know, I mean, if you're following the signals, there's a level of impatience there that every trader goes through. And you want everything to be a winner, and so do I. But that's also a very difficult target, and if I put my mindset that I have to win on every single trade, I'll go crazy. I mean, at that point, I would just won't even live stream anymore. I'd rather just trade on my own and, you know, do what I know does me a lot more money. I never want the live stream to change, and I already seen it. I've seen it happen to me. It's probably crept in about 3 or 4 times where I would have either broken even on a trade, closed the trade out a little bit earlier. Just things that I would naturally do with intuition that I don't necessarily like doing on stream because, you know, I've got the setup mapped out, and if the person that's mapping out the setup doesn't follow through, I mean, how much faith do you have on the setup, I guess? So, but I can also see things in real time on areas that get balanced out very quickly. Things that don't get balanced out very quickly, bigger targets. Man, this is brutal. All right, I'll be right back. Alright, I get up and finally got some movement. And again, you see the reaction. Now we'll see if we get some follow through. This is on the lower time frame. This is on the 1 minute. So these don't have as much weight, obviously, as like the 5 minute areas of unbalance or the 15 minute of unbalanced area. But you can see the initial reaction. That's, I mean, I don't know. That was only probably good for 3 points. Well, we'll see. And then I can look on the lower time frame and see what they haven't balanced out yet. Okay, so the 85s, 85 target right here, would probably be their first area that they'd want to get balanced out very quickly, which is right here. And then obviously TP2, or my TP, my original TP, still is an area. Granted, they've done a shit ton of, this is going right back into that range, which I don't necessarily know that the market wants to do right now. I think that they do need a little bit of movement, just for some auction theory. But to me, they would at least need to take out the 85s, which again is a tiny target. But that's just what I see on the market, and you know, and based on the 1 minute time frame, it's going to be tough to find huge targets. But you can see this is an area of contention for them already. Just swiped at it. Doo-doo-doo. So we'll probably see a wick right into the 85s. I came pretty close, probably a tick away. But you'll probably see a wick come through it. Let's see, what did this come to? Yeah, it was about 2 ticks away. So now again, an easy place for them to auction right there. I mean, you saw the little sweep to the top side. They're going to want to place that, and they just missed it by a tick. So they're getting into that area. Let's see if they want the bigger stuff right now. Because on these plays, it's funny, I was just about to point with my finger on the chart. On these plays, you'll see the wick actually touch the 85 before you even see the body, which I know sounds stupid because the body would touch it, but visually, the way how quickly things work, you probably would see this wick first, and then you'll see the body. So there you go. You saw the wick first. So this is just a classic area where they just needed to balance out. And now we'll see if they go for the bigger one. But yeah, these kind of scalps I can do all day long. I mean, these are not necessarily very difficult, but they're just lower probability. And then after this, everything is balanced out to the downside. Everything's balanced out down here. This would be the only thing that I see them doing. Probably just taking out whatever they can right here. So you see how that one played out? I mean, it's when you find unbalanced volume, the markets just get so much easier. And the higher you go on the time frame, the stronger it gets. But you also got to worry about one thing: the higher that you go on the time frame, the bigger your stop loss and the bigger your take profits are. So you have to be willing to accept that. And I think that was probably 2 points of drawdown that you were seeing on that trade. I think this would have been our highest one right there. 2 points exactly. To make 10, it's not bad. Obviously I wouldn't have had my stop at 2 points. So I don't even know why I said that, because that didn't really make much sense on my part, but it is what it is. Alright, let's get rid of these guys. Alright guys, I think with that, I think I'm going to be done for the stream for today. I'll pretty much be looking for the IB trades today, or see if another setup arises from itself, but I don't. Just looking at price action doesn't look very likely, but you never know. Hopefully you guys picked up some nuggets here today. I mean, that's what I try to do every day, is give you guys a little bit more insight as to how I see the markets and how I kind of formulate my trades. So hopefully that comes from some value with you guys. Signal service, the new portal will be open very, very shortly. Just waiting for one last registration to go through. So for the full functionality of the site. So that will be live. I already do have a few people in there. I have been trading live on the portal as well. So all the functionality is working minus one thing. I still need my text messages to work. So don't want to go fully live until that is functional. So they just have to approve my content, my messaging content that I'm going to be sending, which are the signals. And from there, we can go live. All right, guys. Hope you guys had some fun today. I know it wasn't a lot of trades. There was really not much trades at all here, but still in the green, which is always good. It's always positive. Take care. I'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, 8 a.m., 30 minutes before the market opens. Take care, guys.